I got home from work on a Tuesday. Nothing special about the day. I was tired, a little hungry, and just ready to be inside. I turned into my driveway and hit the brakes. There were two guys standing right at my gate. Full security uniforms, clipboards, the whole look. I had never seen these guys in my life. I sat there for a second just trying to figure out what I was even looking at. I rolled my window down thinking maybe there was something going on in the neighborhood. A water main break, a missing person, something that would actually make sense. One of them, bigger guy, clipboard under his arm, walks right up to my window. Doesn't introduce himself. Doesn't say good evening. He just taps the glass with his pen and goes, "We need to talk." Talk about what, man? I just got home. He told me they were sent by the HOA, and that I needed to go with them and personally apologize to Mrs. Henderson next door. Mrs. Henderson. Linda. Should have known. My mind went straight to the weekend before. I had some friends over. Backyard. Burgers. Some music playing. Not loud, just on in the background. Linda had called the police on me. The officers actually showed up, walked around, saw a normal cookout happening, and left. They didn't say a word to me because there was nothing to say. I figured that was the end of it. A little annoying, sure, but over. Turns out Linda wasn't even close to done. The guard kept talking. He told me Linda had gone to the HOA board and filed a formal written complaint. The reason? Emotional distress from the noise at my cookout. My cookout with background music and maybe 15 people in the backyard. I let him finish. Then I said, "I'm not apologizing for anything. We had a normal gathering at my own house." That's when the second guy stepped in. He had been quiet the whole time, just standing there. He looked at me and said very slowly, "Sir, we have instructions not to leave until you come with us. We can handle this easy, or we can handle it another way." Another way. At my own house. Because of a cookout. I looked past both of them at my front gate, and that's when I actually noticed what was sitting right next to it. Two folding camp chairs. A small cooler. A thermos sitting on top of the cooler. These guys had packed a bag. They showed up to my property with supplies like they were planning to be there a while. This wasn't a quick visit. This wasn't a misunderstanding. Someone had actually planned this out. The HOA had hired two guys, briefed them, sent them to my address, and told them to wait me out until I gave in. All because Linda couldn't handle hearing music from next door on a Saturday. I sat in my car and looked at them. They looked back at me. I wasn't going anywhere. And I wasn't apologizing. Not a chance. I put the car in park right there in the driveway. Didn't move. Didn't say anything else. Just sat there. They sat in their little chairs. And that was it. A full-on standoff on a quiet street in the middle of the week. Neighbors were starting to notice. I could see curtains moving across the street. A guy 2 houses down stepped onto his porch pretending to check his mail. Everyone could see something was going on, but nobody knew what. A few minutes went by. Felt much longer. My food was in a bag on the passenger seat, getting cold. These two guys were sipping from their thermos, like they had all the time in the world. I'll be honest, for a minute I didn't know exactly what my next move was. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to get out of the car and argue on the sidewalk. That wasn't going to get me anywhere. Then it came to me. I didn't need to argue. I didn't need to negotiate. I just needed to change what kind of situation this was. Right now they felt like they were in control. They had a plan, and they thought I had no way out of it. But I had something they weren't counting on. I picked up my phone off the center console, opened the camera, and I started recording. I turned the lens toward them, looked right into it, and started talking in a normal, calm voice. "Hey, let me show you guys what's happening at my house right now." You would not believe how fast two people can go from confident to nervous. The second I pointed that camera at them, the whole mood shifted. The bigger guy with the clipboard actually took a step back. He put his hand up and said, "Hey, you can't record us. Put that away." I kept recording. "I absolutely can. You're standing on my private property, without my permission. I can record whatever I want out here." I just kept talking to the camera, laid out the whole thing from the beginning. The cookout, the background music, Linda calling the cops showing up and leaving because nothing was wrong. And now, 2 hired security guards with camp chairs and a cooler camped outside my gate. because the HOA wanted me to go apologize to my neighbor. I said all of it, out loud, on camera, live. The two guards kept glancing at each other, whispering. You could tell they had not been prepared for this. They were expecting me to be uncomfortable and back down. Most people probably would have. Nobody wants a confrontation at their own front door after a long day at work. But this wasn't going the way they planned. About 10 or 12 minutes into the stream, the clipboard guy's phone rang. He stepped away to answer it. And even from where I was sitting, I could see it all over him. Shoulders tight, head down, just saying, "Yes, ma'am," over and over. Linda was watching the stream, or someone from the HOA board was. Either way, somebody on their side was not happy. He hung up and walked back over. He said something to the other guy. Low voice. I couldn't hear the words, but I didn't need to. The other guy bent down, picked up the thermos, and started folding his chair. Just like that, it was over. No explanation. No, we'll follow up with you. No, nothing. They grabbed their cooler, tucked their chairs under their arms, walked down to a little white car parked at the end of the street, and drove off. I stayed in the driveway for probably 2 full minutes, just sitting there. Then I pulled in, went inside, and finally ate my cold food. The next morning I checked my email. The HOA had sent me a message. Not an apology, not an explanation, just a short notice that said the complaint from Mrs. Henderson had been resolved and closed. That was the entire email. 4 words and a case number. They knew they had gone too far. The stream forced their hand. They didn't want any more people watching that footage and asking questions about how the HOA operates. Linda still gives me a look when she drives by. Won't wave. Won't make eye contact for more than a second. But she hasn't done anything since. I think she finally understood that I'm not going to just go along with something because she wants me to. And the video got thousands of views. Hundreds of people showed up in the comments, sharing their own stories about HOAs doing similar things. Some of them were way worse than mine. That part actually felt good. Knowing people watched it and realized they don't have to just roll over either. Know your rights. Film everything. And don't let anyone bully you on your own property. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories like this.